Hello and welcome back to Nerd Melon. Today we are unboxing 11 video games that we just received back from the Video Game Authority. This is a true unboxing because we have not seen the grades for these games beforehand. 3 of the games in this box are part of an experiment we're running on graded Switch games. We've seen some high dollar auctions for graded Switch games, which is ridiculous since Switch games are still in production. So our experiment is to grade some common Switch games and see if we can turn a profit. Alright, so I wasn't completely honest with you before. There is one game that I know the grade for already, and it's because I brought these games over the border, and when I came into Canada, I had to open the box so that we could show the border guards what was in the box. So this first game, I was already aware of. This is PlayStation Vita, Asterisk Wars, Phoenix Festa. This is the English Asian version, and the more rare Asian English version, which came out, looks like VGA 85. As we did with last month's Wata graded games, this month we will look at the fair market value of these VGA graded games by searching Nerd Melon. There have only been 16 sales of this game since January 2021, which speaks to its rarity. In case you were unaware, the English Asia version of this game is one of the rarest games on the Vita. 10 of the 16 sales were sealed copies. Only one was graded, and was also graded by VGA at 90. This sold for $700 in August 2021. But we have a high sale of a raw copy for $1,000 also in August 2021. So I have the remaining 10 games in a box down here. And for the remaining 10, I have absolutely no idea what their grades are. So, in no particular order, I'm going to grab the next one. This looks like a Castlevania game. Castlevania Chronicles for the PlayStation 1. This came in at 85. Very nice. I'm very happy with that one. Let me see if I have a record of this game in my little database here. I paid $42 for this in 2003. Lots and lots of copy of this sealed game on Nerd Melon. None graded by VGA, but we did find this Wata graded copy with a similar grade that sold in December 2021 for $396. This is fun, isn't it? And very exciting. I'm nervous inside for the next one. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. Just a quick peek here. It looks like we have another Castlevania game. This is, wow, wouldn't you know it, another Castlevania game, also graded at 85. So 3 games so far, all graded at 85. This is Castlevania Circle of the Moon for the Gameboy Advance. Now, you know what's neat about this one is I keep a database of all of my games, and I have the original picture of this one, and it had a big disgusting looking sticker on the front that I removed before sending it off to VGA. Yeah, just take a look at that ugly sticker. I'm so glad I removed that before sending it off, because that is seriously some beautiful cover art that would have been marred by that ugly sticker. Yeah, come in.
Where's the ugly sticker?
That is the original picture. That I took it away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, cool. Again, lots of copies of this on Nerd Melon. Here we have one graded at an 85 plus. Remember, the one we just showed you was an 85, but VGA has these plus grades, which just means the grade is slightly better than a plain old 85. But for our purposes, we can consider this sale to be a close enough match. This game sold at a Comic Link auction in July 2021 for $1,500. So the VGA 85 is their standard near mint grade. It's like a CGC 9.8, but for video games. Okay, next up. Let's see what we have here. I'm nervous. What is it? This looks like a Switch game. Okay, this one won't be... Oh, it's a little bit stuck in the bubble wrap here. This one is not one of the ones that we graded for investment. Anyway, this is Shantae, Risky's Revenge for Nintendo Switch. Yeah, graded at 85 again. This is a limited run game. So the limited run company goes and makes video games in limited run, but they make games that Nintendo doesn't want to produce. They're only online versions. Limited Run comes along and produces the physical copies of the games, mostly for collectors like me. I am not a fan of artificial rarity, which is what Limited Run Games tries to accomplish. We see this all the time with variant covers of comic books. I believe that true rarity cannot be artificially generated. It comes about because of a collectible's age or a special set of unusual circumstances, and these will always be in demand. On the other hand, I believe demand for collectibles that are rare because a company purposely produces a limited run of said collectible will eventually fade. That said, I graded this game because I like the gameplay and the cover art, but it looks like the market hasn't quite yet decided if these games will hold any value. There are hundreds of completed auctions for this game on NerdMelon, but only 2 of them have been graded, the most recent of which sold at Comic Link auction in May of this year for $850, but this game was graded at a 95 plus. This is a near unobtainable grade by VGA, and games in this grade will always fetch a premium whether they're rare or not. Our copy is graded at an average 85, and with no comparable auction to base a fair market value on, we'll just have to wait to see what the market eventually decides to do with this game. You know, it's nice that we're getting all these 85s, but I was kind of hoping to get like maybe a 90 or a 95. We'll see. We'll see what's next. Okay, let me reach into the box. Oh, another Switch game. Oh, there we go. Something a little bit different. This is Metroid Dread for Switch. It came in at an 85 plus. Remember, I talked about those pluses. It just means it's slightly better than an 85. Okay, so what are we doing here? Metroid Dread, I purchased this on release date. I wanted a copy that was an early release. Huge Metroid fan. We did buy a second copy of this one, which we opened and played, and I love this game. So again, this one's just for collection. This one isn't an investment of any kind. Yeah, the market is still too young for these graded Switch games. Again, hundreds of sales for this game on NerdMelon, only 2 graded. This copy was graded at 90 by VGA and sold for $210 in May of this year. Great, so nothing spectacular yet, but also nothing really negative yet. It's all been kind of average. Now, before we get into the next game, I just noticed this I wanted to show you. I wasn't going to make this a comparison between VGA and Wata. So the last month's video was on my Wata graded games, this month on VGA, but this is something I noticed VGA did. These are all the cases I used to protect the games when I sent them to VGA. So right there, that's a Switch cover, that's a PlayStation 1 cover. I did the same thing with the games I sent to Wata, but they didn't return these, and these aren't cheap. You know, they're $2-3 each. I just think that's a nice touch by VGA to send these back to me. Okay, next game.
Hey video game graders, me and my son Troy just came back from GameStop at Richmond Center Mall, Richmond, British Columbia, Canada. We bought 3 brand new Switch games, which we're going to send off for grading at VGA. The first game is Pokémon Brilliant Diamond, Pokémon Shining Pearl, and Zelda Breath of the Wild, a classic. Now we asked the lady at GameStop if we could see a stack of each of these new games so we could pick out the absolute most pristine seals on all of them. She let us do that. That was very nice of her. So we're going to send these off to get graded at VGA, and we're going to see what kind of prices we can realize for brand new graded Switch games on the auction market.
Okay, this one is another Switch game. This one will be one of the investment ones. We'll do a separate video on this one later. This is Zelda Breath of the Wild for Switch. and I'm very disappointed. It came at an 80 plus. This game probably, at that grade, it probably won't fetch much more than the regular value for the game. Just so y'all know why I ran with this experiment, I saw these Breath of the Wild games selling for $2,100, $2,800, and I said, yeah, I could do that. So I went out to GameStop, asked to see their entire stock of Breath of the Wild, and I picked the absolute nicest one I could find. Well, I was hoping for at least a 90, but here I sit with a miserable 80 plus. Yeah, there is a sale of an 80 plus on Nerd Melon. $180 in September 2021. But the game itself cost 80 and grading cost 100. So while I didn't lose anything, I won't realize the huge cash grab that I thought this experiment was going to be. I'm running this experiment with 2 other games along with Breath of the Wild, so I fished those out just so we can get those out of the way. They're 2 Pokemon games, so Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond. Well, Shining Pearl got me the 85. I got another 80 plus on Brilliant Diamond. Yeah, I'm not going to get too much for that. And, you know, at least these are beautiful covers, so I thought, you know, if all else fails, I'll just keep them in my collection. But I really don't like how this one's 85 and this one's an 80 plus. Like, at least give me both 85s. So, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I will sell these 3 games on eBay. I'll do a follow-up video. You know, now that I look at it, there's been a lot of Switch games in this batch. Usually I have more of a variety of games. Like, I had the 3 Switch games for that experiment, but I also had like the Metroid and the Shantae. And there's another Switch game. It's another Shantae. I'm just going to fish it out here. Again, just because, again, because I like the covers and the games. This is just the regular Shantae. So beautiful. It came in at least an 85. So I've got the pair now, both at the same grade at an 85. I like that. I can handle that. Okay, but the next 2 games, I promise, are not Switch games. They'll be a little bit more exciting. So what do we have next? I like this one a lot. This is, I'm not looking at the grade yet. This is Little Red Riding Hood's Zombie Barbecue for the Nintendo DS. A rare game. Sealed is even much more rare. It came in at an 80. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I thought this would be at least an 85. Now, looking at Nerd Melon, we see that 0 graded copies for this game have sold since Nerd Melon started collecting auction data in January of 2020. But like I said, it's a rare game and it's kind of an obscure title, so the fact that there are no graded copies of this is kind of understandable. We do have a sealed raw copy that sold in May 2021 for $510. So a little side note here. I don't do these videos from start to finish. I film them throughout the day. And I don't know if you can notice, but to my left here, there's a window. When I started the video earlier on, back when we were talking about the Asterisk Wars, it was bright and sunny outside. You know, now hours later, the sun has gone down and it's dark. But I can't help but notice that I was getting some pretty nice grades way at the start when the sun was out. And now that the sun has gone down, the mood has lowered a little bit and I'm getting these 80s and 80 pluses. 80. Ugh. So I've got one last game left, and I hope this correlation between the sun and my grades does not continue. Last game is a Game Boy Advance game. I haven't looked at it yet. Let's take a look. This is Megaman Bass. Well, you know what? At least we have an 85. I can deal with that. So Megaman Bass for Game Boy Advance came in at an 85. Good. There are a handful of this game on Nerd Melon that were graded by Wata, but only one VGA graded copy. This one was graded at a 90 and sold for $1,450 in October 2021. And that concludes our unboxing video for these 11 VGA games. It's dark outside now, and I'm going to be going to sleep pretty soon here, so let's wrap this up. What did we talk about today? The 11 VGA graded games. These came in about a month after we had a batch of Wata graded games, which was the topic of our last video, if you'd like to check that out. Most of these games were for personal use, just because we like the games themselves, but 3 of them were for investment purposes. But you know, seeing the grades on these games, I don't think we're going to be Uncle Scrooge style diving into a vat of gold anytime soon, but I will do a follow-up on these games once they're sold to see if there is any investment potential there at all. So thank you for watching, and until next time, collectors, bye now.